My wife's parents showed up with a lawyer 2 hours after her funeral demanding custody of our newborn. They had no idea who her maid of honor actually was. My wife Selena died from complications 3 days after giving birth to our daughter. I watched the whole thing while our baby slept in the nursery 1 floor below, completely unaware her mother was gone. The funeral was on a Saturday. Gray skies, light rain, the kind of weather that feels almost too appropriate for burying someone you love. I stood at the graveside holding our daughter Lily, barely able to stand. I had not slept in 5 days. I could not eat. Every time I looked at our baby's face, I saw Selena. 2 hours after we lowered her casket into the ground, my doorbell rang. Selena's parents, Richard and Constance Bellingham, stood on my porch. Behind them was a man in an expensive suit carrying a leather briefcase. Constance did not offer condolences. She did not ask how I was holding up. She walked past me into my living room like she already owned the place. "We are taking Lily," she announced flatly. "Our attorney has drawn up the paperwork." I stared at her, my grief momentarily replaced by confusion. "What are you talking about?" Richard finally spoke. "You are not fit to raise a child alone. You work 60 hours a week. You have no family support nearby. Selena told us you were struggling financially." He paused, looking me up and down with disgust. The lawyer opened his briefcase and produced a stack of documents. "Mr. Castillo, given your current mental state and lack of resources, the court will likely view emergency temporary custody with the maternal grandparents as being in the child's best interest." Constance smiled. It was the same cold smile she had worn at our wedding when she whispered to Selena that she was making a terrible mistake marrying someone without a trust fund. "We are prepared to allow you visitation," she said, like she was offering charity. They had planned this. The realization hit me like ice water. They had been waiting for Selena to be gone. For years, they had tried to control every aspect of her life. When she chose to marry me instead of the hedge fund manager they had selected, they cut her off completely. No inheritance, no family contact. They did not attend the baby shower. They did not visit the hospital. But now Selena was dead, and suddenly, they wanted to play grandparents. "You need to leave my home," I said quietly. Richard actually laughed at me. "We will return tomorrow with the sheriff if necessary. A grieving widower with no support system versus established grandparents with significant resources? This will not even be close." After they left, I sat on my couch and sobbed for an hour. Then I picked up my phone and called the only person I could think of. "Carmen, I need your help." Carmen had been Selena's best friend since their freshman year of college. She was the maid of honor at our wedding. She held Selena's hand during the first hours of labor when I stepped out to call family. For the past 11 years, she had been serving as a family court judge. I told her everything. The ambush at my door, the threats about the sheriff. The lawyer had already prepared with custody documents before my wife's body was cold. Carmen listened without interrupting. When I finished, she was silent for a long moment. "They came to your home 2 hours after the funeral, with an attorney already prepared?" "Yes." "Did they mention anything about Selena's wishes or her will?" I froze mid-breath. Selena and I had updated our wills 6 months ago when we learned she was pregnant. We had specifically named Carmen as Lily's legal guardian if anything happened to both of us. "They never asked about the will," I said slowly. "That is because they are hoping you forgot it exists." Carmen came over that evening. She reviewed every document. She made phone calls to colleagues. She contacted a friend who specialized in custody disputes. When Bellinghams arrived the next morning with their attorney and a sheriff's deputy, Carmen answered my front door. The color drained completely from Richard's face. "Judge Delgado," he stammered. "I was not aware you were involved personally." "Close friend of the family," Carmen replied calmly. "I am also aware that your attorney filed emergency custody papers this morning without disclosing to the court that a valid will exists naming explicit guardianship preferences. That is sanctionable. Possibly grounds for disbarment." The Bellinghams' lawyer turned pale. Constance opened her mouth to argue, but Carmen continued without pause. "I have already contacted family services. They are fully aware of the timeline here. They know you made 0 attempts to contact your daughter during her entire pregnancy. They know you appeared with legal documents before the funeral flowers had time to wilt." The deputy shifted his weight uncomfortably. "Ma'am, is there actually a problem here?" Carmen smiled warmly at him. "Not anymore, officer." 6 months later, Lily took her first steps across our living room floor. The Bellinghams' attorney received a formal reprimand from the State Bar Association for ethics violations. Richard and Constance never attempted to file for custody again. Carmen is now Lily's godmother. She joins us for dinner every Sunday evening without fail.